What is up, guys? We are the Hardcore Casuals, your all-killer, no-filler wrestling podcast, and we are back at it again at our regular scheduled time here. Dropping these podcasts again on a Monday. Hopefully we can get all this lined up sometime to be sent out to... I'm hoping to get it up in the morning sometime. I want to get this edited and get it up in the morning. That way we get the Monday fresh week's outlook on the last week in wrestling. So We'll see. Also, got to mention to some of you guys who are out there who've watched our stuff before, we actually have had several other channels on YouTube before. The Instant Wrestling Report, which eventually became the Pro Wrestling Pulse. And I'm not sure, we might potentially upload a podcast on there to kind of generate some interest, see what you guys think, see if we're kind of just jumped over to this podcast form here. It's kind of easier for both of us since we don't have to meet up every week. We kind of have more stuff going on. Justin with, his family and his new baby, and, us over here on this side, with me we're doing more stuff, working more and all this as well. So it's kind of hard to get together, but we're going to continue to do this podcast, and we're not going to be able to meet up and be able to do actual videos. So we just wanted to get these audios out. So yes.
Anybody knows where there's more opportunities to get more content out, actually. Because, we've been doing this for almost 5 weeks or something. We've put up at least 4 videos or something like that. So it gives us it opens up kind of more avenues to be able to get more videos out and to do it more frequently. Like if there's breaking news stuff, we can just, hit each other up and record something and get it out to you guys. So we definitely like this. This is kind of how it's slowly evolved and kind of how everything goes. It's far more or less, that makes no fucking sense. It's far less video content and a lot more of the audio and just kind of getting it to where, you can just put it on if you're on your way to work or something and just listen to it kind of like it's talk radio or something like that, but it's more shit you're kind of into, which is, wrestling and shit. So yeah.
For sure. And another thing is we plan to do more videos, not just podcasts, but just do, like you said, up whenever there's breaking news, hop on a 10-15 minute kind of rundown of something big happening, try to catch it when we both can get on the phone, have go sneak away to a room where there's nobody and kind of record a 10-15 minute pod or whatever about what's going on. So we will try to get that. Yeah. So for here with this episode, we got to run down how we normally do. Last time we had to cram pack a couple of different things in because we had to have 2 pay-per-views, and then we started with pay-per-view. So here we're just going to go back to our normal format here, which we're going to hit WWE, we're going to hit AEW and stuff, and then we're going to hit the related other news kind of stuff for the internet. This is kind of how we've been running it. So first up, we're going to start off here. Beginning of the week, what happens every Monday? Monday Night Raw, right? So we got to hit that. And after the incredible match we had with Cody and Seth, we get Cody out here and coming out here talking like he's trying to still work, go to Money in the Bank and work with a fucking fucked up act or whatever he's trying to do.
Right.
And then Seth comes out, kind of gives him his flowers, basically hey, inspirational, your dad would be proud, blah, blah, blah. Cody cries because Cody cries. He's emotional. And, and then he kind of jumps him and he kind of takes his heat away, which is something we've talked about multiple times about with this Cody Seth feud. Is Cody going to go in here and 3-0, just wipe him clean here? And he did, and we didn't, honestly, when I was watching the match, I didn't think, maybe they weren't going to give Cody his win here because he's going to be gone for so long, but they did, and he came out the other end like the biggest babyface in the world, which was one of the right calls there. But yeah, good promo here. Rollins kind of gets the attack. How do you feel about how they did this with Raw?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really solid promo from Cody. All of his promos have been tremendous. He really get and sell his emotion. Obviously, it's legit. I mean, he has such a passion for this business, and to have him, get this really super unfortunate injury here, and the timing of it with how, everything is progressing and, the incline of his push and everything. Super unfortunate news, but, like I said, he came out of that match super over. The crowd was still behind him. And when he comes back, it's going to be nuclear, so hopefully I know they said the 9 months time period. Hopefully he can make it back in, a little over 6 and be around that Rumble run and have a huge return, which, I mean, even if it's predictable, it's like going to be glorious. It's going to be so great. So, great promo. And then, having Ross come out, I actually, honestly, instead of, trying to do the attack and then everything, and then if they ever want to tie it back, I honestly think they should have flipped Seth face. I honestly think they could have did some sort of thing to where the crowd could kind of you could kind of absorb all of that energy and all that effort that you were putting into Cody and almost just run with it with Seth for Cody being gone. We'll get into other aspects of this show and maybe some changes they did, a little hot shotty and stuff that came in a couple other segments after this, but I really think that they could have ran with Seth. I think he could have a huge face run, even being the character he is, even though it's kind of like a snarmy, kind of two-facey character, that people want to cheer for Seth. They get behind his entrance theme. We saw it at Royal Rumble when he came out and did the Shield thing against Roman. The crowd was so behind him, and he has such a likable move set. Everything that he does, in the ring, is you can't help but not be just enamored at his just physical, what he does in the ring and all of his moves and everything is just so face oriented. But I honestly think they could have went that route and actually left it there and had him be more grounded and real. But they did the typical wrestling angle thing and they had, Seth attack him. But it's just where is Seth going to go from here? They honestly could have progressed and had him go on to maybe face a Roman at a big pay-per-view or something like that, even Money in the Bank. If they could have had him come out and say, hey, Cody, I know, was wanting to go for this championship and do it for his dad. And he's I went in there and I battled Cody and we went to war and, he's not able to do it. So I want to, I want to go out there and I want to be champion again. I want to do this. I really think the fans have got behind it. They didn't go that route, but, still a solid opening segment and a good thing they did. Obviously the promo was great and, we'll definitely wish Cody the best and can't wait to see him when he gets back.
Yeah, I mean, they say 9 months, but, maybe the overrun on that is a little high just because they want to maybe keep it a surprise if he makes it for Rumble, which
I was mentioning to you, which was, I think it was back in 2007. It was before the 2008 Rumble. And Cena got injured, I think, in the fall. And they were talking he was going to be out for a year, literally going to be out till the next fall or at least the summer. And he literally came back in 5 months for the Rumble and, had that huge return that he did there. So I fully expect Cody to just absolutely bust his ass, physical therapy and everything. And I literally would bet on him being back at Royal Rumble just because it's just so storybook and it would be such a great thing, and Cody knows that too. So hopefully we can see that, and hopefully his recovery doesn't have any setbacks or anything like that, and we can get a great moment maybe at the Rumble next year.
Yeah, for sure. I will quickly mention what you said about Seth. I do kind of feel I agree with what you said about him kind of taking that heat. I think maybe they just didn't want out of the situation. I don't think that they want Seth to come away as the babyface in the whole situation because Cody did, being gone, and then because of the whole situation, it garnered so much talk and so many people were talking about it. The Rock commented and said,
right,
shit about it. It's it's just one of those things. It's such a big deal right now in wrestling because of, it's something we've never seen. So, I think they wanted to keep that whole story grounded where Seth stays the bad guy. Cody comes back with all the babyface heat when he comes. And I completely understand, but yeah, I mean, we've said it before, as of right now, the stuff with Seth did with Edge, and then now the stuff that he's doing with Cody, he's on the run that the best run he's had in terms for WWE. I mean,
oh yeah, he's one of the best in the world right now, bar none.
And it's not just he's the best in the world because he's a good worker.
No,
he's one of the best
everything.
In the world when it comes to psychology and the ring.
Yep.
It's that's something that I feel like it's taken him a lot of years to kind of fully grasp. You go back and watch some Tyler Black in Ring of Honor.
Oh,
you see a guy who is every indie guy, right now, who can just do all the great moves, but doesn't understand the psychology. He doesn't understand putting together a match with a story. And now I feel like you have Rollins at that peak where he's the peak form of what he can be
And that's where I think a lot of fans that are, I don't want to say like less educated, but I would say fans that don't really pay attention to all that stuff is where a lot of fans nowadays, they garner and look at like an Osprey or somebody like that, or like the guys that are going out there putting on these just, 5-star crazy, Meltzer cum fest and stuff like that. And they look at those kind of guys as being like best in the world. But like when you have a full package type of deal, that's where the true talent comes in. You look at, somebody like a Danielson who has the psychology, in-ring work, promo ability, super over. You look at, and a Seth is right there too. I mean, when he has every single tool that you can possibly want. Same with Cody as well. He finally has gotten their in-ring work and everything, but we just have every tool, the psychology, the in-ring work, promos, character, everything is just definitely a full package of Seth, and definitely deserves his praise, like you said.
Yeah, I hope they do something with him, and kind of just don't have him doing whatever feuds for the next, several months during the summer. I hope he goes something else and then continues to build on his run, while he's here, because he's become one of the best parts of the show now. Rollins is, so we'll see what they do there, and we'll see where that goes. Next, we got to mention, Belair is moving on from Becky and Asuka, and I guess Asuka and Becky are going to continue their feud, but I've seen a lot of negativity about the positioning of Becky and Asuka here on Raw with the 24/7 stuff. Mm-hmm. Clearly, people who are fans of wrestling or fans of WWE, they know that the 24/7 stuff. If you're a part of the 24/7 stuff on Raw, you are those people are scratching and clawing to get on television. Just TV for 15 seconds, can barely do nothing. Just run down the hallway, chase after a complete ridiculous prop that nobody has any shits about. And you know what?
Basically, if Raw wasn't 3 hours, it would have never been created title.
Absolutely. And you know what? And I'm actually going to take an opposite approach to this, because I know a lot of people hated the idea of having Becky and Asuka involved in this. I low-key kind of think that somebody should take over the 24/7 title and legitimize a run with it. Like, actually legitimize an interesting run with the belt.
Do you think it's gotten to the point of complete obscurity that it's even possible?
I don't know, because it depends on what they could do with it,
Yeah.
Or
the person that has it.
Yeah, say you want to put, okay, the best idea I could think of is, I don't really care for Omos. I think he's a tree. I think in terms of a spectacle, he looks like a big guy, but he's nothing in my opinion.
Right.
But for this guy specifically, if you wanted him to do a storyline, maybe put the belt on him and have him hold it for a long time, and just have him have a story where all these people are trying to get to him all over the place, all over. Right. Yeah, and no one's ever able to beat him, even in the street, in the fucking in the arena, in the hotel, and just have Omos just be this kind
of like Big Show with the hardcore title back in the day or something like a huge monster. Yeah.
If instead of making it a complete joke all the time, maybe legitimize it. But here with this situation specifically, maybe it might have been interesting to see if Becky won it and then actually just held it and made
it opens opportunities for intergender matches
too. And that's interesting, because they've been trying to do that a little bit, which they might have to with how bleak their roster is at the moment. But it just would be interesting to for Becky to be like, oh man, I got to have a title. I don't care what it is. I need to have a belt. I'm going to have the 24/7 belt. And then she has to, with the drawback of being the 24/7 champ, she has to defend it anywhere and anytime, anywhere. And it's just she turns into literally Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Oh, this is my precious. I think that would be interesting. I think that would.
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of sold me on that. That actually kind of does sound cool.
I mean, it seems like an interesting storyline, because it just seems like they're not anything involved in the 24/7 title. To me, just feels like a joke. And I feel like if they take something interesting for that belt, and
it makes sense too, because after she lost her title, she was was going crazy, she was going insane because she lost the title, like my precious, like you were saying, fucking girl and shit like that. Yeah, I mean it would be curious, because Becky is her character right now is just so over the top and crazy and, bouncing off the walls and kind of like basically Seth's female version. So, I mean, yeah, she definitely would make it a hell of a lot more intriguing and something I wouldn't just completely just blow fast forward through every time I saw a 24/7 shit going on.
Right. Well, we'll see what they're going to do with that. Maybe they just did a little one-off thing with it, but as of now, right now it looks like they're going to continue Becky and Asuka. Totally fine. Totally fine with that. Anytime they're in the ring with each other, it's worth watching. So we'll see what they carry on with that. Then we have the news of Mr. John Cena making his return. He's going to make his return. They're going to do the 20th anniversary of John Cena, I guess. I think they set the date for late in June sometime.
Yeah, June 27th, I think, is a Raw, I think, yeah.
So not this Monday, the next month, 2 Mondays?
It would be, 2 weeks, I think, yeah.
So I think that he's coming to return to do his 20 years, and then obviously they're going to probably set up some kind of feud for him to do a match at SummerSlam, I'd assume. And there's been a lot of talk about him in theory and what the idea behind that might be. I know Cena has been kind of making comments about Austin Theory and who he who he wants to face next and who his favorite wrestler is. They did WWE did like a TikTok thing where they asked him questions and he was like, "Oh, my current favorite WWE superstar, Theory." And the next question was like, "Who would you, if you come back wrestling, who would you like to face?" And he was like, "Theory." And then he did the little thing where you point to your eyes and you point at the screen.
Right.
So it was like, okay, they're just setting this up. And I mean, that could be a really good rub for Theory. If he gets in there, even if he loses, I mean, they have a rocket ship strapped to him right now. And, I can't say that I'm not actually I hate it when WWE forces guys down your throat because they do it so often when they find a guy they like and they're just like, this is our guy, we want him, we're going to push him even if you don't like it and it's not working. And then it takes, somebody 10 fucking years to actually get good and for people for us to like them. It happened to John Cena. It happened to Reigns. It took so many years for us to kind of be like, okay, the guy's got it. It took 10 years of, the machine pushing them for us to be like, okay, they're finally, worth a shit. But Theory, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with everything involving him, so we'll see what happens. But it's just interesting. I know this is a John Cena little tidbit here, but that kind of the Theory stuff leans into the next thing that I'm going to talk about. How do you feel about Cena returning and stuff with Theory?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I mean, you added Cena into the mix for a little while, kind of get into a feud maybe for a couple months. I mean, it couldn't come at a better time, obviously, with Cody getting hurt. So, I mean, having him come in here and set up some sort of angle, maybe going into SummerSlam, it's always going to bring eyes on the product when Cena comes back in. So, and Cena's so, I honestly, I never thought I would say this, but he's just, he's very selfless with, how he comes in nowadays. He's just totally willing to put guys over. He just, loves coming back in and doing his little ditty and then going back to Hollywood and doing his shit. So I totally think that he's, I would assume he probably puts Theory over. I don't know if maybe they do 2 matches and maybe he gets 1 win and then Theory wins in the other match or something like that. But, if they do end up going that route, I'm all for it because, I mean, the things they can do to build that feud would be fucking brilliant. They literally could have Theory come out looking like the prototype and then he could come out dressed as a fucking rapper and shitting on him and Theory could pull the shit off. He's so young, but he's wise beyond his years. He just seems like such a natural. I've said it 15,000 times. He just reminds me so much of Randy Orton with how natural he has come off, and it's just so. He's so much better than he should be, at his age. Because I mean, what is he fucking 24, 25 or something like that? He's a young dude, but man, he just looks so natural in there. He has a great look. He can talk. And he carries himself with a lot of confidence. So I mean, I'd be all about it if they wanted to go that route. And I think Cena is probably super stoked to be back and to be working with a guy like Theory, a guy that is just so moldable and he can just they give him that Cena rub and that Cena kind of that help that he can do. And I think Cena would probably be all about it.
Yeah, I definitely think that's where they're leaning. That's where the dirt sheets and a lot of people think that it's heading. So we'll see with that. But before that, it looks like they may be setting up Theory versus Lashley. which I saw them standing in the ring, like next to each other, and I was like, okay. Like, this kind of feels like two bigger guys. I mean, Theory's not huge, but Theory's, he's big. He's a big guy.
Yeah,
He's no Adam Cole.
He's like, yes, Jesus fuck. He's like sneaky big. Like, when he gets in there with somebody that's bigger, and you're like, holy shit, he kind of, like, comparisons-wise.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's pretty big. He's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's in there with Lashley, and they're standing face to face, and I'm like, I kind of low key want to see where they can take that, because, you know, I mean, Lashley's kind of doing a face run right now, and I feel like he's like really into his face, like being a face right now. He's like playing it up real big, so we'll see where that goes, because it looks like they're leaning to do a U.S. title feud with them maybe. So I don't know. How do you feel about a potential Theory Lashley feud?
Yeah, no, I agree. Pretty much everything you said. Don't need to really go any further. I think it's going to be some solid stuff, and I think it's another guy that, you know, in Lashley that has legitimacy behind him, and I think that's another kind of launching point that maybe if they get to a Cena, then he can be like, hey, he went through this feud with Lashley, and now he's on to Cena. It's just bigger and better things, and continuing that kind of rocket ship move that they're, you know, doing with Theory's ascension here.
For sure. So yeah, I mean, we basically got to get on to the final thing from this, which was the big shocker of the week for at least for Raw, and that's what the hell was the Judgment Day turn here? Well, I mean, Finn comes out. There's a lot of rumor about Finn joining in the first place, and then Finn didn't just join; he kicked Edge out and became the leader. And as much as I enjoy a good swerve, I'm kind of not really like. I kind of feel like this was just really a weird turn of events, because I feel like the Judgment Day really didn't get a chance to take off and kind of see where they would develop. It was just, it felt like this has only been a thing for a few months with Edge as the leader, and he was a great mouthpiece. And then now all of a sudden he's out and Finn's the leader. And it's just like, they could have still had Finn and Edge face each other. If Edge wanted to face Finn Balor in a dream match, which is a guy who's on his list, you know, of guys he wants to face in singles matches, they could have done it as Edge is the heel and Finn is the face. I don't understand the switch. There's obviously the talk of Edge not wanting to take part in any supernatural stuff with the Judgment Day, which that is just rumor. It hasn't been confirmed. There's a lot of stuff about them wanting to turn Edge face because Cody's gone and they don't have any baby faces, and Edge is just a natural baby face. He's a legend. So if he turns back, the fans will just take him right back, obviously. So I don't know what they're doing here. The shock and the turn moment was good because we don't get it very often anymore, because we just don't get swerves like that very often. But man, I don't know, man. I just don't know if it was the right call. I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, with all the factors involved, like you laid them all out. Obviously, Cody getting hurt, that came out of nowhere. We literally just heard about it, like, well, you know, a day, or not even a day, like literally the same day as Hell in a Cell or something like that. It came out about the weekend. So you had that, and then having all of the lead up and everything they did with the Judgment Day, and how this is being so like manicured and worked over and like thought out, and all this whole process, and they've been adding and you know, talking about adding more, and then they just do this huge swerve, which is so modern day un-WWE like. This to me was just completely hot-shotted to turn Edge. Like, I just think it was something that potentially was going to be a long, like, it was going to be a long developing storyline with Judgment Day. I think it was going to be something where Balor was going to join. I think they were going to have 4, and it was going to be Balor. It's literally 3 guys that Edge really, or 2 guys and Rhea, who Edge really, really likes, has talked great about in the past. Get him under his wing, give him the rub, and then have eventually Balor turn on Edge, probably have dissension. This was probably going to be a year-long storyline, if not longer. I think it was going to be a very, very long, drawn-out thing where you're going to have slowly maybe dissension between the ranks, and you were going to get more sympathy behind Edge. This just completely came out of nowhere. So to me, it screams hot-shotting for an ulterior motive. to, again, like you said, they lose their biggest face, like literally the biggest face in the company position-wise. I mean, they want to say that Lashley is, but fucking, do you hear the crowd? Do you hear the reactions that Cody was getting? Like, he was the number one face in WWE, like, bar none, in my opinion. And losing that for at least 6 months, if not more, potentially 9, they need to have a huge face that's going to be over. And who's that going to be? Like you said, 100%. You flip Edge, and everybody's going to have no issue with jumping back on, backing on the train and bring fucking Alter Bridge and fucking You Think You Know Me and the Pyro back, and everybody's going to be fucking all about it. So, this is going to be something that's going to take a lot longer. It just has that feel. Like when I was watching it, I'm like, man, WWE doesn't do that. They don't do this shit. They set it up to make it to where it's so fucking predictable. You don't get shocked by something. It's almost like they're a victim of their own fucking like thing by just getting this across. And it's like, man, this shit doesn't happen like this anymore. Something must have happened like to make you think it. So, I think it was a lot to do with the Cody injury, and I think they wanted to flip Edge back to face. And, like you said, I don't know how I feel about it yet. Edge or a Balor, I think it's a good move for him, because I mean anything was better than what he was doing, which was pretty much nothing. So I mean we'll see where it goes. The pairing was it was kind of all flowing naturally with Edge, and Edge being the ringleader of all of this and being so behind this idea, and then having him get everything that kind of happened with that weekend with Hell in a Cell was just kind of threw everything up in the air. So. To me, it just screamed hot shot to turn Edge because of the Cody injury. But we'll see where it ends up going, and see how the production of Judgment Day, if it changes or has a different feel to it, or like I don't know. It's just like you said, it's very interesting, and we'll just have to see where it goes. But that's kind of my 2 cents on it right now.
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if this elevates Finn to being, geez, the slightest bit interesting, I'd be surprised because
right.
he's not interesting whatsoever.
Right.
So we'll see if this gives him a nice rub to see what happens here. But
right.
They don't do it like you said. It was a shock moment. Had everybody talking. It was all over social media. So I mean, they got people talking. So at least it did that. So we'll see where it goes. I quickly want to mention, because like I said, we don't normally talk about NXT, but I do want to mention a couple things. Like quickly, I'll just throw them out here, see if you saw anything or, saw some clips or anything. But I wasn't really following a lot of this, but I did see that Roxanne Perez won the women's breakout tournament, which is good because I think she's a pretty good worker. I've seen some of her stuff with Ring of Honor and when she was Roxy. So it was cool to see that even all the attractive model-looking chicks they have there now, they picked the one that's probably the best wrestler to win the tournament. And then also Braun Breaker, and is potentially starting a feud with Apollo Crews, which I feel like, I mean, if you're not going to do anything with Apollo, might be a good idea to bring, a guy like him down to NXT to have him work with a Braun Breaker who just needs to work with veterans, man. Just needs to work with veterans, kind of hone his craft a little bit. And I'm very intrigued to see the kind of match that a Braun Breaker and an Apollo Crews could pull out in an NXT setting. So, how do you feel about any of this NXT stuff?
I don't even know who that chick was you just said. Literally, if you show me a picture of her, I'd be like, I have no fucking clue who that is. I literally know like 4 chicks on NXT right now. Like literally, and like 3 of them are probably in that Toxic Attraction. I know, is Casey Catanzaro still there?
Yeah, I got a different name.
She's there. And then I know obviously What's Her Nuts, fucking Nikita Lyons. And then fucking the chick with the pillow, I guess, that hits people with ball sacks.
Her name.
I don't even know what the fuck her name is.
Roxanne Perez is formerly known as Roxy. She was wrestled in Ring of Honor. She was like one of their graduates from
the fucking chick from TNA, right?
No.
Not Roxy Laveau, the fucking guy.
No.
Okay, good.
I think it was spelled Roxy. I think it was spelled like ROK /C. That was her name.
Oh, okay. So recently she was in Ring of Honor.
Yes, and then Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen a lot of her stuff, but I mean, obviously she came from Ring of Honor. She probably has at least some sort of background with, being able to work.
Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, I did see the Apollo stuff. I didn't watch any, like I said, I haven't watched an episode of NXT since I think fucking Gargano left, which was, I don't even know when the hell that was, a long ass time ago, but, yeah, I mean, I like that. That could be some good shit. That can be some really great work. I mean, the guys are just big fucking young hosses that can go in there and just fucking slap each other around and fucking do some work like that. That could be some good shit. And like you said, I think it's good to have, kind of like a young veteran, like a Cruz go down there and, drop all the stupid fucking, Nigerian drug lord, whatever the fuck shit he was doing and, all that stupid shit. Just have him go down there and just, be a fucking, young stud kind of guy coming in and challenging the new young stud and, see what we kind of do there. I think that, it's kind of like what NXT OG was really based on, which is like the best of the best in the young, division going in there and doing their shit. So, yeah, I'll be watching those matches because I think that could be potentially some good stuff.
Yeah, I don't watch NXT either. I literally haven't watched.
Dude, like I literally if you start like fucking name people off, I'd be like, I have no idea who that is.
The only reason I know who she is because of the connection with
Ring of Honor connection, yeah.
And some of the stuff I've seen on the internet, and I think I've seen clips of her, and I watched one match of her in NXT. I think it was I had it on some random time, and it was just on the background, but. Right. She's good. She's a good young talent. So we'll see what happens with that. And then obviously Braun and Apollo, we'll see what happens with them as well. But yeah, it's interesting because I like both those guys in the ring. So we'll see.
Right.
So yeah, we got to jump on here to SmackDown. I guess we'll run it down pretty quick here. Not too much really happened with SmackDown. I mean, there's a couple big things we'll hit. The first thing, I mean, our boy Gunther, man.
Man.
Hopefully he can get that belt on pay-per-view because it hasn't been on pay-per-view in a really long time.
Yeah, I think the last time was WrestleMania, the last WrestleMania, not this past one, but before that.
Oh my gosh, that's fucking
literally good. That's the last time it was defended.
Wow, that's fucking, that is nuts to me that they put it on pay-per-view. That's crazy. Well, the basic rumor here behind the whole stuff with Gunther is he's got a good attitude behind the scenes. He's very well liked. They asked him to lose weight and get in shape. He did anything that they've given him. He just says, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'll do what you want. And, well, WWE, they like that when you just do you do what you're told. So they rewarded him with the title win here, which they needed to do this because the Ricochet is doing nothing.
Right.
With it. If Gunther can at least hold it, he could hold it for a long time because, I mean, who on SmackDown is going to beat him for it? Like nobody on the right. Nobody, except for, Drew, maybe. They do him and Drew. They do him and Sheamus, maybe. Those are the guys, and then Roman, he's not going to jump down to the IC title.
No.
So it's good to see, and we'll see what he can run with this and see what they do with Gunther. I'm a huge fan, obviously, of the former known as Walter. So how do you feel about Gunther?
All about it, man. Yeah, like you said, it's just they've done everything since they've brought him up to the main roster. I mean, he just got in incredible shape. Like, literally, there was a picture of both him and Marcel Bartel. Whatever the hell that, I don't know what it's, Ludwig Van, whatever the fuck, Van Halen or some shit.
Ludwig Kaiser.
There it is. Yeah, they showed a picture of both of them. They both, they're just fucking cut up and, just got in crazy good shape. So, they're doing great stuff with him. He literally might break the record for whoever the hell's the fucking title the longest, and I'd be all about it because that would bring back prestige and honor and fucking tradition back to the fucking IC title. And I think that they just throw everybody at him and just let them fucking smash motherfuckers. You can maybe have somebody come up and give them a good run and maybe a pay-per-view match, but I mean, just literally just continue and just have them fucking dominate with the mid-card title. We saw it, back in the 2000s, you'd had guys that would just hold the title for a really long time and just kind of run through motherfuckers and slowly continue to gain and gain and gain. And I think that's easily what they can do with Gunther here. And, we're all about it.
For sure. Next I got to mention, Drew McIntyre and Lacey Evans both, qualify for their Money in the Bank matches. At this point, Drew's the first one in the Money in the Bank match. He seems like already probably the favorite, but
right.
if he went, I mean, if they're doing a change of plans here, maybe he already came out and said, hey, I want whoever the champion is at Clash of the Castle or whatever. So if they want to pull a trigger here and be like, Drew's going to win, he's going to cash in on Roman at Clash of the Castle, that makes complete sense. Lacey, who even knows what the fuck Lacey's doing? She's supposed to be on Raw, and now she's on SmackDown again. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. All we know is she won her match. She's qualified for the Money in the Bank. So, anything you want to add to that?
No, pretty much, yeah, like you pretty much covered everything. I have no idea what the fuck they're doing with Lacey. She was like on SmackDown and crying, and then she went to Raw, and then she went back to SmackDown, and does anyone give a shit? I don't. And it fucking, Drew, it gets in there, like you said, a huge potential favorite, and I think it would make a lot of sense if they had Drew win and then just say, I'm cashing in my opportunity, and he's going to wait. And he literally can say it the night after fucking Money in the Bank. Be like, I'm going to wait. I want to cash this in. I want to defend it at the fucking Clash Castle, and whoever's champion, I'll see you there. Like, I'm all about that. That'd be dope.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they happen to do. So, and then finally we get on to, basically they had to have Sami Zayn, who is an honorary member of the Bloodline at the moment, face Riddle, and if Riddle won, he gets a shot at Roman for the title. And, he beats Sami Zayn here, and he gets a shot at Roman on SmackDown.
Yeah.
They're not going to put it on Money in the Bank. Why would they do that? I have no idea why they.
I don't either. Yeah.
Like, why? Why wouldn't they have just put it on the pay-per-view? What's the point of not putting it on the pay-per-view? I guess it would probably be. Or has SmackDown ratings been completely horrendous? I mean, all wrestling ratings have been horrendous, but I guess.
Well, I guarantee SmackDown's been.
Yeah, SmackDown has been dropping. They've been dropping under 2 million, so maybe they want to do that. I don't know, but I mean, in terms of, people are already going to watch the pay-per-view because it's Money in the Bank. They want to see the banks. So maybe there's
that's two big title matches they've done in the last 3 or 4 weeks because they had that unification tag title on SmackDown too.
Yeah, so maybe you're right. Maybe they are trying to raise the ratings there with that.
Fox, Fox, they're all about it.
So we'll see. I mean, Riddle is great in the ring, and we'll finally get to see Riddle and Reigns in a main event match. It could be very good. So how do you feel about Riddle facing Roman?
Yeah, man, I'm all about it. That match is going to be fucking awesome. It has potential to be really, really fucking good. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'll definitely be checking that out for sure.
Yeah, I hope they give him at least 15 or 20 minutes and let him just go out there and fucking kick ass and do it. So we'll see. So, but yeah, so that's what we got for WWE so far. All right, so here we got AEW Dynamite this week, and because of the Punk stuff,
lot of talk about here, Mr. Girl.
Yes, there's some lot of rough patches here that we got to get through. Some good stuff too, but some definitely lot going on here. AEW needs to just put the pedal on the brake, put your foot on the brake for a second, and just take a breather and instead of keep adding more and more. It's literally like, oh man, this fucking soup, it tastes good. It just needs a little more salt. Let's put a little more salt. Okay, it tastes good. But you know what? It'd be a little bit better if we added some more onions, some more mushrooms. Let's add more salt.
Cocaine.
Let's put a little cocaine in here. So it's like your soup is already good.
Your system with this soup.
Right. Where's the soup? The soup's good.
I think they're literally trying to just become their name, just Dynamite. They're literally just trying to become fucking just explosives.
Just a complete explosion. It's become a theme here to really knock on AEW lately. And WWE, we know they have their faults. We've been dealing with it for years. But now
it's just not as egregious. That's what it is. It's not as offensive.
Yes. At this point, yes. So, like I said, because of Punk's injury, they're doing an interim champion here, and they decided to do a battle royal here. And they got the casino battle royal because they have to call it the casino battle royal because that's their thing. And they do it
when they're not in Las Vegas, even when they're in Independence, Missouri, it'll be the casino royal.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I like the concept. I think it's interesting. 5 guys at a time until there's 20 guys out there, and then they have a wild card, and I think that's really interesting. I think that's an interesting concept. So I'm not going to shit on the actual battle royal concept. because it's a new twist on a battle royal idea that I actually find very interesting. However, this match here was, just like any other battle royal, but it felt like we were waiting and waiting and waiting to see the big names in this, the Danielsons and the Jerichos even, or Wardlow, Hangman, the guys that could really go up against Moxley, and you really think one of these guys could actually beat Moxley and go on to face whoever was going to beat, face Tanahashi or Goto. And then don't get me wrong, I like Kyle O'Reilly. It's cool that he won this. It's cool that he's getting the rub. Out of all the elite guys, out of Young Bucks, Cole, Fish,
best of the worst.
Yes, he's the best of the worst. I genuinely like his in-ring style. I find his in-ring style good. I think he would fit in very good with the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that he would be awesome with them. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see that he got a win here, and he goes on to face Moxley later on in the night. We'll get to that as obviously as the rest of this card runs down. But I don't know. How do you feel about the Battle Royals here?
The Battle Royal itself, like you said, the concept, it's fine. Like, I'm not, all gay about it or anything, but it's fine. Pride Month for you, but...
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was just, the more the guys came out, I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, maybe the next suit will have some big names. Oh, okay. Maybe the next suit will have big names. Oh, look, it's Andrade. And I'm like, hope Eddie Kingston wins. Literally, I'm just like, where are the fucking names at? I get Danielson's probably out. I'll give you a pass on that. We'll get to Wardlow and Paige and all of their, great elaborate descriptions of what Tony gave them to say for all their promos and shit. But like you said, it's just missing talent. It's just, you would think that all those big names would be in there to be world champion, because you would still be, even though it's interim, you're going to go on to face Punk down the road and potentially be able to become world champion. So, that's the same process that it is for the Royal Rumble, where you get an opportunity to face the world champion and you have every big name and everybody's all about it. That's how this should have felt. It didn't, but O'Reilly won, and I was just kind of like, nah, okay. This is predictable. You're giving somebody that, he had a big win at the pay-per-view. He had a singles match that was added, and you beat Darby, okay. It was kind of a big, at least kind of singles win for Kyle O'Reilly at least. And, that set up a potential, I'm thinking in Tony's mind, he's like, God, I'm so brilliant. I added that match to the pay-per-view, and then I had O'Reilly win, and now I could have him win the Battle Royal that we weren't going to do. And then it's a perfect setup, and then I can have fucking just Moxley beat him because it's not beating that big of a name, right? Oh, yeah, this is great. Cocaine, let's go, adrenaline. And it's just, it was whatever. It didn't feel as special as I felt it could have felt. It was just like, it was another day, and I don't feel like this is another day type situation. But it goes back to the thought. I just think that they just rushed this scenario and this whole format of everything they're doing. I'm just completely not a fan of. We can get into that here in a little bit, but yeah, it was just kind of whatever. And O'Reilly winning, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a perfect person for Jon Moxley to win and beat, and so. It is what it is.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, they had to figure it out. They had to, give Moxley his bye because, he's Moxley and he's got a good record, because the record means a whole lot. But we'll get to my feelings on their records and their explanations and shit, because I'm not really a fan of how they're handling all that.
Same.
But yeah. So then we move on here to what I thought potentially. This came out of nowhere. What I thought potentially was going to be we have a new championship. And I was like, oh, okay, they're going to introduce the trio titles. They've been talking about it forever. Oh, here we go. Here's our version of the IC title, the All Atlantic title, which has 2 flags in it that are not even in the Atlantic Ocean. So it's like, what in the fuck? Why? What's the point of that? Don't get me wrong. All Atlantic title. It rolls off the tongue. It does. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense, because if it's a title that you're trying to make this international belt, like the IC title or European title or whatever, that's what it is. You're basically saying, here is this belt, okay, and we're going to run a tournament with, 8 guys, and
Right.
we're going to do, each one is going to be from a different country, not the U.S. Okay. Like, what? Okay. And then, I don't know.
It's so clever, okay? It's fucking mind-blowing, Ryan. Get it across yourself, okay?
There's so many belts,
Fucking
man.
so thought out. It's so well developed, man.
Just so earlier in the day on Wednesday, I guess Tony was on a podcast or something because he does 3 or 4 podcasts a week with wrestling fucking news. I don't know what he does now. But anyway, he was like, oh yeah, I got a match for Dynamite tonight. It's going to be fucking Pac versus, Buddy Murphy or whatever, Buddy Matthews. And I know you love these dudes. I hated this match.
Oh, I didn't like the match. I was hoping it would be really good, but it was
Well, and I didn't hate it because the match wasn't good. I literally felt, okay, here's the thing. I literally felt like I was watching the match. Okay, it had stakes because they were in a tournament. I thought I was watching 2 literal video game characters from Street Fighter fight each other.
I feel that, yeah.
It didn't feel like there was no drama. There was no, literally the guys they didn't tell no story. Obviously they're not going to. And God, I love Pac to death. I think he's a great worker, and I think Buddy's a great worker, but these guys are they were blank face, no expressions, no facials, just going in there, just fucking doing the greatest hits on a Street Fighter game. Like,
right.
To me, that's why I disliked it. But in terms of the belt and what they're trying to do here, I mean, why? What's the point? What's the point of doing this? You already got all kinds of stuff like belts and shit and titles and
you got belts that aren't even in your fucking company on your show all the time.
Part of me just feels like he bought Ring of Honor just so he could have Ring of Honor titles on the show, just for no reason.
Well, don't forget when somebody wins a fucking AAA title, got to have that out there too.
I mean, we'll get to. I mean, I don't have much on Rampage, but I mean, even Will Ospreay when he comes out on Rampage, he came out with the Rev Pro title, and then fucking Adam Cole and Britt Baker come out with the Owen title. I'm like,
those motherfuckers.
This is literally the markiest fucking mark fest in the fucking marking world. In the Markiverse. Yeah. The Markiverse. It's not the multiverse fucking marks. Anyway, Pac won, and I think he's probably going to win the whole tournament. I think Tony's going to reward him for being an original guy. Unless Ospreay's in the match, I think we could see. I wouldn't mind seeing Ospreay Pac. I think that'd be pretty fucking rad. I don't know if that's going to actually happen. They might end up doing a multi-man match with Ospreay later on. They haven't even just said Ospreay was in the tournament. I'm just taking a guess. But they're going to put probably two guys from New Japan in the one bracket. I'd imagine that they're going to, potentially one of them's going to have a match on Dynamite this week. So we'll see. But, yeah, I mean, have you got anything else you want to add about it?
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. Just adding more fucking hats and more pieces of candy for people to fucking wear and for people to fucking eat. Like, it's like you got the World Championship, you have the TNT Championship, you have the TBS Championship, you have the Women's Championship, the tag titles, the AAA tag titles, the fucking Ring of Honor tag titles, the fucking Owen Hart fucking titles for whatever fucking reason. We have to have titles for that. Am I forgetting anything else? You have, like, literally every person try and find a segment on an AEW show where somebody doesn't have a championship. Like, literally try and find a fucking segment that doesn't have a championship involved. Like, it's, like, why? You're just fucking watering down and thinning out the importance of championships by fucking adding more fucking championships. You're making every other title look more and more fucking meaningless by continuing to do this. On top of the fact, like you said, the title itself, it literally looks like the fucking same as the Women's Championship with two fucking different flags on it. Like, the design is the fucking exact same. It doesn't look any more unique than all the other fucking titles. Like, it's just fucking pointless. Like, you don't need it. And they're gonna add trios titles. I think Tony said, he's like, dude, I got titles you haven't even fucking heard about yet, already made up. I'm like, okay, great. Let's fuck, man. Like, literally, like, that should be a game. Like, just watch a segment and try and find a segment where somebody is not carrying around a fucking championship. That's what I'm going to do now when I watch Dynamite and try and see if I can do it. Because it might be hard, too. Fuck. Like, Jesus, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're going to continue the storyline on.
But as far as who I think you said you thought Pac, I actually think Miro's going to win it.
Miro?
Yeah, I think they might give it to Miro. I think, I mean, it would be interesting, obviously, but I just don't, I think that there's going to be more heat behind Miro than there would be behind a Pac. Like, I get maybe you saying, like, because he's the OG kind of AEW guy, I could see that, but, like you said with that match with Buddy, like, there was no, like, air behind it. I feel like there's at least more effort behind a Miro with him coming back in. He's already a previous champion. He was actually one of the best TNT champions they've fucking had. But yeah, we'll see who the New Japan guys are. I actually don't think it's gonna be Ospreay. I think Ospreay is gonna be involved in potentially a multi-man match with like Aussie Open and other guys. Or maybe they have a big singles match they want to do with him. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they throw Ospreay in there, it'd be hard. But he also just won the U.S. title too at Dominion. So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that's at least one of the more unpredictable matches they have at Forbidden Door, because a lot of the other outcomes look kind of predictable for that show right now.
For sure. And yeah, we'll just see what happens and see how it ends up playing out over time here over the next few weeks. And that actually leads on to the next thing here, which is Beretta comes out. He's out there saying, you know, United Empire guys got involved with the FTR match. FTR comes out, you know, hey, we want another shot at the ROH titles. And then he, you know, I think it was Dax. He's like, well, you know, we got fucking Ospreay's bitches and getting involved. And then literally, cue up the music. Ospreay comes out to the literal wettest fart. Literally think of. He's supposed to be God's gift to fucking internet wrestling fans right now. And he comes out there. And then his crew comes out there, Aussie Open and whoever the other fucking guy is I've never even heard of. And I don't even know the names of the members from Aussie Open. I just know that they're a tag team.
Yeah,
and
no clue.
They come out there, and I shit you not, literally look like, ready for this? Nobody. They come out there, and they look like nobodies. They are all wearing black. They all literally look like interchangeable fucking guys in the Undisputed Era.
And we're including Ospreay in that, people.
Yeah, they just don't, they look like nobodies. The fans of Independence, Missouri don't know or give a shit about Will Ospreay. They don't. They didn't care about him. And yeah,
it might have been a better idea to maybe do that in LA. Maybe might have done a little bit better.
Yeah, Pop might have been a lot better for that. I'm not saying there isn't hardcore wrestling fans in Independence, Missouri, because we live in nowhere fucking bumfuck Missouri as well. But I mean, it just, I just don't think people care as much as the internet cares, you know? Yep. I personally think, you know, so we'll see. They jump him. I think they probably, the way this is leading is, it looks like they're probably going to do, probably FTR and Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero against Ospreay and his three guys. Whatever. I don't know. Who cares? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, there's like so many different pieces of like not giving a shit in this. Like, first off, I was like, why is Trent Beretta out here cutting a promo? Like a guy I literally have never seen in the ring by himself do anything. And then I was like, when the fuck were FTR and Trent Beretta doing shit together? I literally, I have no idea. What did they do like before to be involved with each other?
They asked for a Ring of Honor tag title match.
When though? That's what I like. When? Like in a segment or like on Dynamite or Rampage? Like what? I don't even know.
I think it was a backstage promo on a Dynamite, and it was Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. They I guess were a tag team in New Japan before.
Okay, and then Trent came out and said that him and Rocky wanted a title shot.
Yes.
Did it solo without Rocky. Okay, that's what maybe confused me.
Because Rocky was
I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, so yeah.
So FTR and Rocky Romero, FTR faced Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta on Rampage.
Okay. That I probably didn't watch.
Or was it Rampage or was it Dynamite? And then the United Kingdom guy, or United.
Rampage. Okay, so that's a problem in itself because viewership for Rampage is so fucking down the shitter right now. It's like, for people to have to watch Rampage to follow your storylines onto Dynamite, I think is a terrible fucking idea because the numbers for Rampage have been just fucking the shit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
do you remember Jeff Cobb and the Great O'Khan running out and DQing?
Yeah. That was on Dynamite. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was the match that got DQ'd. So that's why they called him out there in the first place.
Oh, okay. So it was on a Dynamite. Okay. For some reason I thought it was on a Rampage. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, they all do their shit, and then I literally thought it was going to be, because I saw United Empire, so I thought it was going to be Great O'Khan and fucking what's his dick, but like I really think they should have had a different screen to like say maybe Ospreay's name, because literally he came out and like you said, it was like, oh cool, like I didn't like no, you're in Independence fucking Missouri, like this is the problem with a Mark Booker putting his chips on the line that every fucking person watching your show knows these fucking guys, and it's not the fucking case. Like, you are literally producing and projecting onto us a niche fucking part of pro wrestling. You're putting it out there into the world that these guys are the guys. Well, here's the problem. If these guys aren't known by the fucking people watching, then they aren't the guys. They're just fucking guys. Like, they're just like, who the fuck are they? Like, that if you don't, you have to know these motherfuckers. So it's like, they just expect it. They're like, oh, we're gonna put on Forbidden Door. New Japan, everybody fucking knows New Japan, right? What's up, New Japan? I literally can give the roster to New Japan to my dad, who watches Dynamite, and he could maybe list like 4 fucking guys. Like, and that's like not an average person like that can do that. So it's like, again, it's just, he just assumes. And you can't assume when it comes to fucking, like, it blows my mind that he just can think that this shit works, and it doesn't, man. Like, it doesn't. If it comes off weak dick to us, people that know these motherfuckers, then imagine what it comes off to a casual viewing fan. They're not gonna give a fuck. And that's what, it's gonna continue. If you continue to fucking do this, people are gonna continue to not fucking give a shit. Like, and you're never going to progress. You're never going to show progression on your fucking product. Like, this, it's a bigger problem in itself, 100%.
I completely agree. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing for Forbidden Door. I think they're missing a huge opportunity to do a singles match with Ospreay because everyone and their fucking brother wants to see dream matches. But
right.
Who knows? We'll see what they do with it. Next, we got to jump on here to Hangman comes out. I can't even remember. Did he have a match and then cut a promo? I don't remember.
Yeah, he faced David Finlay instead of being in the Battle Royal to get his championship back.
Right. So then he beats David. He cuts this promo about how he didn't want to be in the Battle Royal because he had his eyes set on a different prize. He wants to face Okada for the IWGP title. And the crowd's like, oh, yay, woo. Which I'm totally fine with seeing Hangman Page face Okada. I think,
right.
You know, for Pages in terms of his wrestling ability compared to years ago when he was in New Japan, he's miles ahead of, you know, what he used to be. And Okada is, you know, Okada in terms of, you know, if you want a guy who looks like an actual star as a Japanese wrestler, he's one of the only. Like,
yep.
You know, you got him. But then we had to have everyone's favorite middle schooler, Adam Cole. He had to pop off a commentary with his Owen belt, which was almost the size of. Literally, I literally thought I was watching a 5-year-old hold a huge world title belt. I was like, that's way big. They should have made him a small one. But anyway, I'm tired of slandering Cole because I feel bad because the guy was just such a good worker, but just not vibing with Cole anymore. But anyway, they conversate, and Cole's like, oh, yeah, you're going to get Okada? How do you even know Okada's going to win? Jay White's going to win. And everyone was like, fuck you, bro. Okada's winning. And we're over here, like, just salivating at the idea of Jay White winning. But he did. Yeah. Which literally would be, for me, the only reason I would want to watch New Japan at this time is to watch fucking Jay White.
Right.
Then fucking go out there and just actually fucking tell a story in the ring.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, how do you feel about this stuff with Hangman cutting his promo about wanting Okada and then Cole getting involved?
God, just fucking as soon as they were showing the matches for the night, and I'm like, so you're telling me that the guy who was just champion for like 8 months is facing some fucking jobber from New Japan, and he's not in the Battle Royal to become interim champion? I'm like, how in the fuck does that make any sense? Like, so he knew he was going to go out, and he knew he was going to beat this guy, and then he knew he was just going to go out and challenge Okada. Like, when you would just be in your own company's Battle Royal to become your own company's champion, which you were just the champion of. Like, what? Like, I just, oh man. But yeah, so then you had, like you say, you know, fucking goddamn Adam Cole with his giant fucking title, looks fucking retarded, come out and fucking, I just don't give a shit about Adam Cole. Like, I just don't give a shit about him. Like, don't put him anywhere around Jay White. Don't put him anywhere around Okada. And here's the biggest one of the biggest reasons why Jay White's probably my favorite wrestler going right now is he has so many different tools. He has all the tools, in my opinion, and probably your opinion. But also, it's just the fact that he has shown progression. He has shown that if you go back and look at Jay White 5 years ago compared to now, he is a completely different talent. Go look at Adam Cole fucking any time in the past compared to now. It's regression instead of progression. You look at Jay White with his physicality, with his bulking up, with his promo skills, with his in-ring work, with his psychology. Everything has progressed, and everything has shown that he has dedication to become a great wrestler and one of the best wrestlers in the world because he has that drive to do it. He doesn't have the drive to go to fucking goddamn E3 and tell me which fucking new game is coming out and fucking do all that bullshit like Adam Cole's still fucking nerding out to do. Like, dude, fuck Adam Cole, man. I never thought I'd say that, but just he can fuck off. Him and his girlfriend could go fuck off with their giant fucking dumbass looking titles. Just get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't fucking care. But this fucking Page shit, dude, like, it is what it is. Like, they wanted to move on and don't want to probably have him in there and lose because he wasn't going to beat fucking Moxley. They already had a game plan, so they had to find a different fucking way to do it. And, you know, now that all went up to shit, I guess it's probably going to be, you know, potentially, you know, Jay White and Hangman and Cole, I guess. I don't even know what they're going to do with this, man, but fucking Adam Cole can get the hell away from all of it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what their plan is here. It's looking like they maybe want to do Page versus Cole versus a New Japan guy, and I'm just like,
Like, why?
I don't care.
Like, why? Why? Why are we doing that? Like, the best thing they can do is put fucking Undisputed Era guys in a fucking 5-on-5 and just do them against, like, if they want to do some sort of faction or just a combination of fucking guys or some shit, but just I don't like the idea of doing a triple threat and adding Cole in there just because why? Well, it's Adam Cole, you know, Tony Khan, he's like, you know, this guy single-handedly won the Wednesday Night War, and if he would have went to Friday nights on SmackDown, he would have single-handedly beat us in the Friday Night Wars, and then if we created a show on fucking Tuesdays, it would have had a Tuesday Night Wars. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm starting to see the cracks in the foundation with the stuff with Cole and AEW and buddy with the Booker, and yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Part of me also feels like the reason Britt was booked so strong was, you know, to get Cole there, and then Cole was booked strong, and then that's why O'Reilly jumped.
Yep.
So these guys, you know, it's all buddy system, man. They're all buddies. Oh, my buddy's over here, and he's getting booked good, and I'm going to get booked good. We're going to do cool stuff and be buddies.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've said it 100 times, so whatever. Fuck it. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, we'll move on here to Wardlow. Comes out, cuts a promo. Basically saying...
What's his excuse, Ryan?
His excuse is he's had his eye on the TNT title ever since he was screwed out of it. So he wants to win that title.
Also, he doesn't want to be interim champion because he's not pinning or submitting the real champion, even though you'd have your opportunity to do that if you became interim champion. So in that, making himself sound like a fucking idiot. Like, I'm just like, oh, God.
I kind of get, okay, Hangman's shit is whatever. Like, I'm like, that's silly. To a degree, I kind of get Wardlow's thing because if Wardlow goes in, he wins, and then he goes and wins the interim title, his very first ever world title win will technically not be the world title. So, like, it'll always be known as he's the guy who won the interim title, and then he won the world title. So it's like, I kind of get where they're going with that, even though it just made him sound stupid. Yeah. He came off stupid to me when he was like, it came off very, like, this promo and what he said, this gave me crazy Batista vibes, where Batista was, like, smartening up to Triple H, but he was also still kind of a dumbass a little. like you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Like, it kind of gave me those vibes about Batista. Like Batista has always kind of been like a meathead, and he's always like, he's smartened up, but he's always kind of come off like a bit of a dumbass. But, you know, you know what I'm talking about for sure. Yep. But yeah, how do you feel about Wardlow and him wanting to chase the TNT title?
I mean, I like the idea of, I mean, why didn't he just come out and do that the night after the fucking pay-per-view? Like, and just fucking, whatever. I mean, it's fine. Like, I guess if they want to kind of keep him away from the other guys and give him something to do, it's kind of like Shades. It's kind of like what they're doing with Gunther and the IC title potentially, is he could just fucking hold that title and just run through everybody and eventually get to the point to where he gets the world title run. Because it is too soon for Wardlow to be in a world title run. I get that. And you didn't want to put him in the Battle Royal because you didn't want to fucking have him, you know, lose or look weak or whatever. But yeah, my thought is just take the explanation out and let your fans just say like, oh damn, he wasn't in the Battle Royal. Like, that's kind of dumb. Instead of saying this whole fucking goddamn explanation and all this shit, and, you know, just have him come out there and fucking call out Scorpio Sky and like, look, you're fucking making this title look like a joke. Like, I want to fucking run with this fucking thing and carry this, you know, championship and all this shit, and, you know, when you stop the joking and all the bullshit that, which people can get behind, because all the shit that's been going on with fucking Scorpio and Lambert and all those guys, and then fucking Guevara and Ty Conti and doing their fucking shit. Like, he could say, like, stop all the BS. This is a championship. We should treat it like one and not like a toy or a fucking sex toy for that matter. Like, that would have been the perfect promo, because people can get behind that. They could understand that. Like, just doing that would have been fine. Leave out all the other bullshit. Like I told you earlier in the week, it's like a movie that has plot holes going out of its way to explain the fucking plot holes. Like, don't do that. Just fucking try and, you know, cover it up and fucking conceal it instead of fucking throwing it out there in the open. Like, that's dumb as shit. So, you know, it makes sense. I think having him go out there and just fucking smash Scorpio Sky or whatever, because I could give two shits about Scorpio Sky or anybody that's been involved in the TNT titles lately.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me with this specifically is I think that some of the stuff that they are doing, they're kind of like, okay, some stuff's kind of not going our way. People are kind of getting hurt. And I think maybe Scorpio he's hurt currently, I believe.
Right.
So maybe they're going to just, you know, take it off him, throw it on Wardlow because Scorpio's hurt, and they just wanted to throw it on somebody that, you know, give him some momentum. You know, have him run with it for a while, and it might be a good call to throw it on Wardlow because,
well, you look back. I mean, you even harken back to older times, Jesus, times when we were kids, which sounds like older times now. But like, you know, you look back at Goldberg. Goldberg's first title wasn't the World Championship in WCW; it was the United States title. He held the U.S. title, and then I think he literally just was like fucking threw it away, and he's like, "I'm going for the world title now." He didn't even lose it. He fucking just gave it up. He's like, all right, I'm done with this. I did what I did with this, and now I've gotten to the point to where I'm over more. And he went in there and smashed motherfuckers, and, you know, he was like a dual champion. I think at one point, I think he ended up having both titles or some shit. I think he won the world title as U.S. champion, and then he just fucking forfeited the U.S. title. So, I mean, it's a smart move for a guy like that. Again, it's like very much like what Gunther is probably going to do with the IC title. He's still on his trajectory and still on his way up. So let him go out there, win a mid-card title, and just kind of run with it for a bit.
Yep. We'll see what happens next week. here in St. Louis, he is going to face 20 guys. So kind of sounds like a porno to me a little bit.
It does, yeah.
Porto against 20.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm sure he'll smash them all. Look fucking awesome. But yeah, we'll see. Leading on from that, we find out that Young Bucks will face the Hardys and also Jurassic Express. Like I said, they don't go by Jurassic Express. I don't know why it's calling them that. They changed it. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy in a triple ladder match. Which, I mean, fuck, man. Guess they're just gonna run the Hardys until the wheels fall off, huh?
Yep.
I'm excited for that, you know, because it's just another one of things. I mean, how can you, like, as a fan, you could literally sit here and go, man, what a great fun match to have on TV. And then you can also go as a fan that literally thinks, why are they doing this? Why aren't they saving this for a big show or something? Like,
why is it necessary to make it a ladder match?
Right. Why is it necessary to make a ladder match? If you're trying to
logistically makes zero sense. There's no reason to do it.
Other than the Hardys being in it, they want to do that. Christian being the mentor.
But those matches back in the day had stories that progressed to make it make sense. You remember the original Terry Invitational? They put the contract or whatever to Terry, in the ladder match, and so it made sense storyline wise. This is just like the same reason they did the TNT title, where they made a ladder match. They're just like, oh, and it'll be a ladder match. Okay, all right. I guess just because we're GM booking on WWE 2K22 right now.
This was lazy booking.
There you go.
Lazy booking.
But it will be a fun match.
It will be, and that's the thing. It sucks because it's like, man, we're still fans of wrestling, and it's exciting, but at the same time, it kind of don't make sense. And so it's like, whatever. I mean, Young Bucks just got a big win over Lucha Bros. The Hardys just got a big win over the Bucks. So, and then the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy just got their win out of the pay-per-view. So it makes sense that all the guys that are in it deserve to be in it. It's actually hilarious. I think it was Dax. He shared on Twitter that for the last 3.5 months, FTR has been the number one ranked tag team, and they're not even a match. So what? I don't know. We'll see what they do with it.
Oh my god!
It should be a fun time. I'll be sitting at home watching it later that night. You'll be there live, so
yeah,
have fun with it.
I will.
So, and finally, we'll get on to the last thing here, which is Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly, and what Mr. Dave, Big Clown Shoes Dave, considered a 4.5-star match. Which, what is a 4.5-star match anymore?
Especially to him. Holy shit.
Yeah. This match was a TV match that was just as basic as the day is long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both these guys are doing great stuff, but did this do anything special enough to be 4.5? I don't believe so. We did literally what happened is exactly what we thought would happen. Moxley won. He's going on, and he's going to face, which we're not going to talk about Dominion, but Dominion happened this weekend, and Tanahashi won. So it is Moxley versus Tanahashi for the interim title. So anything you want to add to this?
I mean, pretty much like you said, it was just a stock match. We knew in the beginning, even before the bell rang, who was going to win. We knew that before the bell rang in New Japan with the match with Tanahashi, we knew who was going to win that. We knew it was set up from the beginning, and they just they delivered on our expectations, but they didn't do it in any sort of special, dramatic, or mind-blowing fucking way. They just so run-of-the-mill the way that they did this show when it could have been something really, really special. I was super excited to see what they were going to do at the beginning of the show, and I came out of it feeling like, bleh, like, oh, cool, it's exactly what we thought, and you did it in the most boring fucking way possible.
Yeah, for sure. Moxley goes on, faces Tanahashi at Forbidden Door. We'll see. The final thing I'm going to add here quickly is I didn't watch Rampage, but they did have a 3-on-3 with FTR and Tremperetta versus Ospreay and Aussie Open. And, yeah, so the great thing to do for any casual fan is that you're introducing to I've heard about this Will Ospreay guy. I've heard about this guy on the internet. I've never seen him. I've never watched his matches, but he's in AEW. I've heard his name floating around for years, and I've never watched him, and I'm a casual guy. Oh, let me go in here and check him out. Oh, he loses his first match. Let's just make him not look like anything. So,
oh my God. It literally didn't even hit anything to make him look special, didn't do anything fucking, what? What is that booking? I think fucking Beretta pinned one of the tag guys. I'm just like, what? I literally thought for sure, I'm like, this is 100% ending with Ospreay hitting, his fucking finish on Beretta and pinning Beretta.
yeah.
I 100% thought that was going to happen. And then I'm like, not even involved in the pin, and he lost. It's
yeah. I already don't care about Ospreay and AEW.
God, no. Same, dude.
So they haven't done a great job of that so far. But yeah, that's what we got for AEW. So yeah, first up we got here on the other news for this week. A little bit more news coming out about the MJF stuff. Warner Discovery Media, they just asked, I guess, Tony and AEW to pull, all his stuff from television, all of the marketing for MJF. They pulled all of his merch and everything. So, if they're working everyone, which everyone seems to think this is a work, it seems like that's what the plan is here. But they're going to very long what's the word I'm thinking of?
Extensively?
They're going long, what's the word? I'm losing my train of thought on the word. I feel like
I guess they're going to play the long game.
There you go.
I don't know what the term is, honestly.
They're doing a long and extensive stretch for this here storyline. If they're doing this, basically, Tony was like, "Hey guys, this happens in wrestling. This guy's going to talk some shit on us, and we're going to try to act like it's real. And I need you guys to be behind it. And it's going to be great, and it's going to draw huge when this, concludes. It's going to be a huge storyline, and everything's going to be Gucci. And it is to be seen. So, how do you feel about this up with MJF?
Like you said, it's a waiting game, So we'll see how it ends up coming out. Honestly, I could see it go both ways. I could literally see it go to where it's just like, oh, MJF was just fucking voided out of contract and he's done. Or I can see it being a big fucking elaborate, storyline that they carry on and shit. But it's right now it's up in the air, and we'll see where it ends up going. But if it is a legit work and they're trying to work everybody, I praise them for fucking going to the big execs and trying to fucking get it across to them that it's a big deal and they're trying to get it across. So we shall see.
Yeah. Nothing we can really report on it until we hear some more news. So maybe something this week happens, or maybe we get an MJF sighting at Forbidden Door. Who knows what they're going to do?
That'd be a good call. Yeah, that'd be maybe. I would say, obviously, if we see him in any sort of form or fashion, it's 100% of work at that point, which doesn't diminish it by any means. It's just how they end up going about it and what they end up doing. And it's kind of interesting in the first place when you start to think about it, you just think like, oh, this promo was great and everything he said was so dead on. And then you're like, well, where does this end? What is the end game here? Who is he going to feud with? What is he going to do? It's like he's going at Tony, but it's like, okay, is there somebody who's going to defend AEW against him? Or what are we? Because the fans are behind MJF, honestly. And the more shit that happens in AEW that, we're sitting here talking about, the more fucking MJF's going to look like a face in this fucking thing to Tony Khan's, very Vince McMahon type, dictator, dumbass, shit that he's doing right now. So it's interesting to see how it unfolds and if it is a work and how it plays out for sure.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they somehow pulled off like a Vince Stone Cold kind of thing here, where it's like
we shall see.
Fans actually get behind MJF, and there's a lot of talk about, he's the mark dictator of the company, and there's more to it than that. So we'll see what happens. Next up we have, I saw this quickly. A lot hasn't come out since the initial report, but there was a lot of stuff about Carmella and how she's having problems behind the scenes, being able to get on television, and she's frustrated. I mean, that's not the first time we've heard that about WWE guys, superstars lately. And it's just the struggle to get on TV. Like, she's willing to do pretty much anything they ask her to do, but they still have nothing for her. So it's like, well, at this point, what are they looking for? What's the game plan with some of these people? I mean, at a point you got to think, guys and girls that have been on the roster for a while, that you just see no progress, like, to do anything in the future, or you see them do anything at any point, they're just become good hands to help others. Someone like Natalya, who probably ever going to win the women's title again. It's possible she might win it as kind of like a, here you go, because, you've been such a good hand for all these years. We'll give you one more little shot at it. But for the most part, a person like a Carmella, her time is she's probably run her course. She could probably leave and just go model or something. How do you feel about this stuff with Carmella?
Well, I mean, obviously, like you were saying, I mean, you started talking about that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess she's not on TV anymore, which just shows that when she's on TV, that no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just like, I didn't even know she was gone. So that just proves that when she's on there, it's pretty much the same fucking thing. So, I mean, I can totally see her just going to Hollywood. I mean, like you said, there's just so much complacency in WWE. Really, honestly, in all of wrestling right now, there's just so few people that really have a passion to want to succeed and continue to progress in pro wrestling. There's so many people that get really high up, and then they're like, oh, off to Hollywood, oh, off to this new adventure, oh, off to this thing. Like, there's just so few people that are like, I want to get better at this, and I want to be the best at this and continue to grow and progress. Like, there's very few people that are like that nowadays, where back in the day it was a lot of those fucking guys who were like that. But, I mean, yeah, she just seems like a fucking person that'll just, would just continue her little role and do her little fucking thing and never be anything different than what she is. And, I really don't care if she's there or not, obviously, because I literally didn't even know she was not there anymore.
I mean, it's not that I, care that she's there. It's just...
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, as far as, if she has an issue with not being on or anything like that, like what you said, though, it's like, so there's not any drive to do anything or be any better. Like, there's just such complacency and, who gives a shit? Like, it's like, who fucking cares, man? It's like, if you don't fucking show the fucking, the want to and the fucking drive, then the fans are gonna fucking feel that too. So it's like, go do a fucking probably sitcom on USA with fucking Corey Graves or some shit that they're probably gonna start doing. Or did they have a YouTube show or some shit that I guess they were trying to do?
I think so. I also kind of feel like they're sometimes certain wrestlers, they just feel like they're capped. Like WWE caps them. They're like, listen, we're never gonna let you get this far, no matter how hard you work. Like, you're just not.
I feel that too. Yeah. I get that.
And it's not specifically like the reason I'm bringing this up is it's not specifically for Carmella in general. It's just like a broader statement about WWE and about how people feel there behind the scenes. Obviously, with the stuff with Sasha and Naomi, it's like everything I've seen from Naomi is like she don't want to work for WWE anymore. She doesn't want to wrestle anymore at all, probably. Yeah. So like, it's just one of those things where it's like, how far can you make it? Like, what are you just happy collecting a paycheck, or do you just want to move on? Like, what do you want to do? Because there's so many people within WWE in general right now that
I mean, to me, if there's somebody in WWE, or if there's somebody within WWE, I cannot imagine somebody saying, "Man, I don't want you to show promise and really try and get over." Like, that doesn't make any, like, it's a lot of people that just can't, and they just don't have the talent, or they aren't intriguing enough, or just. And I mean, I get you can go back to how they're booked or what their character is or shit like that, but like, talent shines through. Doesn't matter what you fucking do. Like, you can have MJF go out there and read a fucking newspaper and you'd be like, that guy's a star. Like, just the way it just is. Like, you just, either you have it or you don't. Like, you're gonna shine through regardless of what you're put behind. You're going to be somebody's going to see it either on screen or they're going to see it off screen. They're going to realize that you have something or you don't. And I honestly just think there's a lot of people in wrestling right now that just don't, and we're just forced to have to deal with a lot of people because they don't have a lot of talent that's breaking out, and they don't have a lot of talent that's really shining through. I mean, it just kind of is what it is, man.
Yeah, I completely understand and get that as well. This kind of leads on to the next thing here, which is, you know, more stuff with AEW. You know, there's a lot of talk about what, you know, a lot of logical stuff going on with AEW. I think that as a fan of wrestling and as a fan of, you know, the idea, the potential of having a ranking system, I always thought that'd be kind of cool. I think it's a detriment. I think it's an absolute detriment for them. I think because then they put themselves in a corner where they're like, well, this guy's it's not UFC. You make the rules. You put who's over is over, or, you know, you are the one that gives the people wins. So it's like the ranking system is irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything. And then you have to abide by it, because then the fans start to be like, well, this person's at the top. Why aren't they getting a title shot? And it's like Dax posted. He was like, here we go. We've been ranked number 1 for 2.5 months, and we haven't got our title shot. It's like, you're holding us down, or what the fuck's going on here? Like, you know, and FTR's are none the best tag team in AEW. Like,
right.
Not even close. Like, you could argue the Young Bucks have gotten better in terms of like storytelling. They definitely have gotten better in terms of storytelling, but, you know, it's those two are the two best teams in the whole company. Like, and it's just, I don't know. It's just weird to see what they're going to do, and I'm over the ranking. And like you said, the explaining stuff, that it just comes off like insulting. Like you said, it's kind of like a comedian coming on stage and basically telling a joke, and then like some people laugh, not everyone laughs, and then the comedian's like, oh, the reason that you didn't laugh, the other people who didn't laugh, is because you didn't get the joke. Here's what the joke is. Let me explain it.
Right.
And it's like, don't do that. Like, it's insulting your intelligence. It's like, makes it seem like as people, you're not smart enough to understand why things are being done, you know? And it's just, I don't know. And Tony Khan is fickle when it comes to the internet. He's on Twitter too much. He's listening to internet wrestling fans. He's listening to people bitch and complain about his company. And he's also listening to people suck him off all day about how great his company is too. So it's just like, it's just one of those things. Is there anything you want to mention about the ranking system?
I couldn't stand the idea in the first place of it, because it's fucking a predetermined sport, and you're trying to get it across, and everybody fucking knows. Casual, hardcore, everybody knows it's predetermined. It's fucking dictated by people behind the scenes. Like, it's not the UFC. It's not something you can stick behind. And then you have to go out of your way to fucking have like, oh, well, you know, we need to build up fucking Punk for this title match. So let's have him go out there and face all these meaningless fucking guys when you know he's going to win, to just build his ranking up so we can get him to the number 1 ranking to make this feud make sense. Like, what? Like, that's, and then you don't stick to it with literally your own guys coming out and calling you out on it on Twitter, like FTR. Like, it's fucking asinine. It's stupid as fuck. It doesn't make any sense. You're insulting your fan base by trying to get across like it's fucking legit. Like, pick a side. Like, you can't fucking play both sides. Like, it's a detriment to the logistics of your company. It's a detriment to insulting your fan base. It's just, like you said, it's just fucking asinine. It makes no sense, and it's unneeded. It's not, you don't need to do that. And on top of it, you're not sticking to it and having it make fucking sense. So why have it in the first place? Just, it's fucking stupid, man, like you said.
Yeah. So this also leads on to more with just toxic fans and just their opinions and everything, and which, I mean, I agree with the internet, you know, to a degree about some stuff, and this is something that I actually do agree with. I don't fault the person, you know, that decided to do this, because, you know, a guy like Roman Reigns has, you know, put in the work, and he's having a historic run, and, you know, he doesn't want to work his schedule anymore. He's basically, you know, at the peak of his career as a wrestler, and, you know, he kind of can just make the rules at this point. He's the top guy. If he wants to work what he wants to work, and, you know, WWE wants to still keep him around, make him happy, then he's going to get the schedule he wants. And I think the big issue with this is the fact that he's not going to be on as many shows, he's missing pay-per-views. I think some fans are getting kind of annoyed with the fact that he's, out here pulling a Brock Lesnar. I think that, that's kind of frustrating because the fans do want to see him, go out there and defend his title and just be on TV in general. And then idea of the title unification. It's like, now it's a fucking mess. It's like, now we have a unified title. We have a guy who's not on TV or defending the title right now, and we have no world champions. So it's like, why? Like, it was a problem, My guess, unless they want to, I think that he's going to hold on to the title for SmackDown. I think he's going to lose the Raw title to Drew at Clash of Champions. I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think that they're going to ununify him. They're going to do some kind of bullshit thing where they ununify him and Drew takes the title back to Raw and he goes back to SmackDown, and I think he ends up holding the SmackDown title for however long. But I mean, that's what they need to do. But because they can't go without having a champion on Raw or SmackDown, they have to have somebody like a world champion. Then it just goes back to Brock Lesnar like it was. So how do you feel about the stuff with the internet kind of shitting on Reigns and the whole unification stuff kind of being a disaster at this point?
Yeah, part of it I'm behind, and the other part of it is, I guess, not storyline-wise, but I just guess, anyway. So basically, I get the point of not having world champion on your show. I think it's dumb too. I do think that it's allowed some other stories to kind of take front and center and let stories kind of carry things instead of having a piece of candy, carry everything and say that, this thing is the most important thing. So I think that's important. I think that's a key that's maybe helped out a little bit. But yeah, I wish there was a world champion on every show. I wish there was a world champion to represent on Raw. I wish it was one champion. The idea of them ununifying the titles is fucking horrible. I hate that idea. I think that would be just terrible. Like, I could see them doing it. I just would fucking hate if they did it. I just think that it devalues what you did at WrestleMania. Like, why even fucking have the unification match if you're just gonna ununify them? I just think that'd be dumb as shit. And then have it to where, Roman's not there. Okay, I get that. But then again, you have probably the same fans that are probably AEW fans come in there and say that, and look what happened to the world champion who's working on a weekly basis. If you have an injury to a Roman Reigns, that's detrimental to WWE. So I think that having the world champion say, hey, I fucking beat everybody, I'm going to go into my fucking goddamn ivory tower and just fucking chill up here until somebody fucking can try to actually say that you're competition. We also can't forget that Roman Reigns is a heel. If Roman Reigns was, if you had a babyface as world champion, I don't think this would be happening. Every single time that Brock Lesnar was out, he was a heel. So, I mean, as far as storyline-wise, if you have a guy go in there and smash everybody, I mean, just think of it in Roman Reigns' character and development. And, yeah, it's probably he's a victim of his own success, which is not on Roman. It's just on the company in general, just putting so much behind Roman and have him fucking smash everybody and have him not have any competition. But, well, why should he be there? That's why he tweets out, he's like, I got to get off my private jet and go off my private island that I was fucking on and come back and have to smash this idiot on SmackDown or whatever. Like, why would he want to be there? He beat everybody. Like, so as far as that goes, it's kind of interesting as far as the storyline standpoint. It's probably not storyline based. He wanted to take time off, but as a heel who's dominated and fucking destroyed everybody, if he wants to come in on his own time and he still comes back in, I do think he should be at every pay-per-view. Every weekly show, I don't think it's been as detrimental as people are making it out to be, but it would be nice to have a world champion there because that's what you expect. As a wrestling fan, we're preconditioned to have the world champion be on the fucking show. So, but it's a little bit different when it comes to how Roman is and how on another level he fucking is right now. So, yeah, is it something that's kind of problematic? It hasn't really affected me that much. I haven't been like, God damn it. I mean, yeah, I wish Roman was there because he's one of my most intriguing fucking people you can put on television right now. So, but yeah, I definitely think that, down the road, I think we'll see him obviously in these bigger matches. I think he's going to be obviously in a big, huge facet of SummerSlam, but it also makes everything he does a much bigger deal than any other world champion going right now, because you're doing things sporadically and you're not doing things every week where you're throwing fucking CM Punk out there in a 6-man tag or whatever when he got injured or whatever the fuck. So it's like, yes and no, because I think it could potentially add value to World Championship by not having him do as much at the same time. So with how much World Champions are used and how much you see guys, on a weekly basis. So, I mean, yes and no to that, I guess, would be my answer.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming through. Get where you're coming from, at least. I don't expect him to be on every SmackDown, every Raw, and then just do every pay-per-view. I would hope that he would do every pay-per-view.
Yeah, same. No, I'm with you on that.
He's going to miss 2 in a row. And even if he doesn't wrestle on SmackDown, every week or in general, like, let's say he doesn't wrestle SmackDown at all, at least he could be there, to set up feuds or whatever. So it's like next week, next SmackDown, he's facing Riddle, and he wasn't there to come out and talk. He wasn't there to say anything. Riddle has a title match against fucking Reigns. Just okay.
Well, no, there was set up obviously with the Randy stuff, Randy and the Bloodline stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you had the setup where Reigns fucked over Riddle and their opportunity to win titles. So I mean, there's a story there, 100%.
There's story there.
So
you don't have to.
He just hasn't been there to continue it and continue to tell the story. But it's not like it's just some fucking random guy that they're just having to face. Like all of a sudden, fucking some John Doe came up and they're like, oh, now I'm going to face Roman. Like, there's definitely a story there and there's definitely history there. It's just not having Roman be able to articulate it on a weekly basis. But I would definitely say I agree to portion of it. And the other portion of it, I'm not too affected by it, I guess.
And I'm not that affected either. I don't know. It just seems at this point where the ratings are not that great. There's not a lot that I care to see in general. I would, that's part of the reason I would want to watch any of WWE in the first place, is to see Reigns on TV. So at this point, it's just kind of like it's frustrating in that sense. So I mean, we'll see. He'll have his match against Riddle. That'll be, the only reason I'll probably want to watch any of SmackDown next week is just to see what they do with Riddle and then maybe what they do with Gunther. So we'll see where it goes from there. We'll jump on here to your girl Paige, man. She's officially going to be done with WWE. She basically came out and was like, I'm done with WWE. They don't want to re-sign me. They don't have anything for me to do. I can't wrestle. They don't want to let me wrestle again. So I'm done. They're not going to re-sign me. So how do you feel about Paige?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was, the writing was kind of on the wall with how long she's been out, and it's probably like a case of like how Daniel Bryan was fighting to get back in the ring. I don't know if she's fighting as hard as what Bryan was to get back in the ring, but I think that there's definitely been intrigue on her end to possibly do that. It could also be a thing that, she ends up maybe, coming back down the road, and, it's not, a goodbye, never going to see you again. It could be a goodbye, see you later type of deal. So, we'll see where it goes, but it's just kind of, it's kind of been the trajectory and how things have kind of been going with Paige. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but, we'll see if she ends up, she was asked basically if the money was right, she would go to AEW. So who knows what they might do there with that. So, so finally, I haven't seen Dominion. You haven't seen any of Dominion yet, have you?
No, I haven't watched anything yet.
Yeah, so I haven't seen any of it. I'll probably at least watch the main event with Jay White.
Yeah, I think I'm only going to watch the main event too,
yeah. So Jay White wins. He wins the title from Okada. And, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that could want me to watch anything involving New Japan at this point in time.
Right.
And I mean, it's fine. He's the leader of the Bullet Club. He's kind of heading up this faction right now. He's, the best part of New Japan, but fuck, they just added like 15 new fucking members. So they're probably going to do a bunch of fucking faction warfare stuff, with them. So hopefully we'll see what they do, and see where Jay White ends up with the Forbidden Door pay-per-view coming up soon as well. Tanahashi, he won. We mentioned that earlier. So he goes on to face Moxley for the interim title. Dear God, for the love of God, Tanahashi cannot win this.
No. There's no shot.
And I could see Tony being like, oh man, it'd be such a prestigious thing to have one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time win our title and run with it for a couple of months on Dynamite. No. No. He cannot be the world champion. He probably doesn't speak a lick of English. The fans will not care. It'll be cool, but to see him, maybe on Dynamite a couple times, but for him to win the world title, it's just not, it ain't it. It ain't the move. So put it on Moxley, let him run with it until maybe Punk gets back, or maybe we see Eddie Kingston get a shot at it. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
And then the final thing that came out of this was your boy, man, Captain Noodles, Zack Sabre Jr., man, calling out Bryan Danielson for a technical masterclass.
Yep.
So we'll see what that's not official yet, but it's looking like that's been the rumored match going into Forbidden Door. I know you're not as stoked as I am, but I'm actually kind of pretty hyped for Danielson versus Sabre Jr. That's actually, out of everything that we've learned about so far and the potential rumored stuff, that's actually like the one match I'm like really looking forward to. I've never really been a huge fan of Zack Sabre Jr., but the last few matches I've seen of his, I've been really impressed with. He's obviously always been the guy who twists everyone up into a fucking pretzel, but I've been impressed with his technical work, and these two in the ring could be really special if they let him go out there and do it. So, how do you feel about the stuff with Dominion and things that went down?
Switchblade, daddy. Yeah, dude, I was all about that shit, man. When I saw that happen, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. Like, to even just beat Okada, but also take the fucking title from him, like, damn. Because everything was just looking like you had fucking Hangman come out and call out Okada, and just saying Okada's name got a bigger reaction than Will Ospreay coming out in person, which was hilarious to me. So, I mean, yeah, having him fucking beat Okada, I was like, holy shit. And New Japan's been known to do some kind of big swervy kind of moves every now and then. So, it's interesting to see, like, did Forbidden Door have a lot to play with that? Like, if Forbidden Door wasn't around, would this have happened? It's, kind of interesting thing. And then obviously everybody, please, for the love of God, go out of your way to see that fucking promo that Jay White cut afterwards, because man, he's fucking promo work. He's just literally probably one of the most captivating promos in all of wrestling right now. He just has such a old school style with like a new fucking swag to it. Like, it's just so good. Rebuilding up the Bullet Club, making them like legitimate again, because over the last couple of years, it's kind of been like, man, like whatever, they're still there, but it's almost like they were there to sell t-shirts, but now it's like, okay, we're fucking back and like we're doing some shit here. So all about that, and excited to see what the future holds. Hopefully we get a Jay White fighting on fucking AEW. Hopefully we get it maybe on Wednesday, so I can maybe have a boner for a little half second there. That'd be fucking dope. But we'll see. I think that was fucking awesome and a cool move to see that. So Jay White going to be in a big high-profile situation at Forbidden Door, which is, I think, where he deserves to be. So that Tanahashi, completely expected and predictable as fuck to see that. I can go on and on about the format and how they did this, build to Forbidden Door after Punk's injury. I'm not a fan of it. We can get into that maybe when we get, closer to Forbidden Door, but I just think having a New Japan talent in your World Championship match where you had a guy get injured, I just think it should be two AEW talent going for the title. I don't think there was an issue having, the AEW Championship. I know they needed a main event that was going to have a New Japan guy because it's Forbidden Door. I think they could have did it maybe somewhere else if they wanted to do it somewhere else and just make this a one-off, kind of like a one-night stand thing where it didn't carry on any sort of title, storyline, any type of shit at all. I think that would have been a better idea, but that's just me. And then, yeah, Sabre and Danielson, that's what everybody wants. It's what the internet wants. They equate, obviously seeing Sabre and the technical masterpiece that Sabre is. And obviously Bryan Danielson is one of the best wrestlers in the world. But Bryan Danielson is so much more than what Zack Sabre Jr. is, in my opinion. I think that my despise of Sabre Jr. is going to not make me enjoy this fucking match. And I can't get myself to not be that way because I just think that they're going to try and portray Danielson and Sabre as equals in this match. And I don't fucking see it. Like, I don't. I think Sabre is a good technical wrestler, but he looks like he has fucking noodles for arms, and he fucking hasn't seen a gym in his fucking life. Him and Adam Cole both have the same fucking philosophy on that. I just don't I don't know. I think that Zack Sabre Jr. is beneath Bryan Danielson and by a significant amount. But it's what people want to see. I would rather see him face potentially, the two best fucking wrestlers in the world, in a Danielson and an Okada. Would be fucking amazing, because they can literally have an all-timer. Or you can have, somebody like Shingo, who Danielson went in there before, I think it was like, Dragon Gate, I think they had, worked a bunch of matches. So, I would wish for more for Danielson, because I just don't think that highly of Sabre. I think he's a great wrestler, and that's all he is. I just think that Danielson is far above and far superior, and I just think that I wish for more, but we'll get it, and I'll try and enjoy it and take my fucking Sabre hate out of it. But what he has done lately, I will say, has been a little bit different. That's a problem with Sabre that I've felt, is a lot of his shit is very similar, very like copy paste, match to match. So I don't know. We'll see what we get there. I'm sure a lot of people will be super excited about it, but I just kind of wish for more for Bryan, but it's unfortunate.
So yeah, I mean, I completely agree, but I'm very intrigued for the Danielson Sabre Jr. match. I don't know, man. I just kind of got this feeling like this is one of the dream matches that I was hoping for. They would do something like when the Forbidden Door concept was out there. A dream match. That's what some people consider this to be.
It'd be really funny though. Like, to me, when you think dream match, I think a thing you do is you compare the talent, right? If you had Daniel Bryan in WWE right now and you brought in Zack Sabre Jr. into that crowd, would he not look like a job guy that he's going to absolutely smash?
I mean, I think you could consider that. I think it depends on his presentation. I think it depends on how what if they call him Zack Sabre Jr. and they say he's a prestige.
I'm not even saying by take names out of it and just put them in the ring. Like, I mean, it's not like Danielson is this like fucking juggernaut, but I'm just saying, like, God, man, Sabre does nothing for me. Like, he fits that mold of guys that we say that are just fucking, they don't have anything else. Like, they're just, you get in the ring and you do your shit, and okay, that's cool, but like, I don't know, man. I'm on the other side with this one. I just can't get behind Sabre. I just, like, every time I see him, he just looks like a fucking, he looks like a fucking lifeguard at a goddamn fucking community association pool or some shit that's like sitting up there with his fucking noodle, like, Noodle Jr. Like a fucking,
Yeah. No, I definitely,
yeah.
I'm just intrigued. Like I said, when I talked about Deeb and Thunder Rosa, part of me still really just, if I'm not going to get the charisma and the storytelling and the facial features and all that out of the matches, the storyline driven matches, I want to see the best version of a technical wrestling match that you can possibly put on, or the best, version of that you can get. So that's just kind of how I view it at this point. I
see more comparison. I think in comparison, I think Daniel Garcia and Zack Sabre Jr. could be, honestly, not the same match, because I'm not saying Daniel Garcia is as talented as Bryan. I see more for Bryan. If you know what I mean? Like, I think you can say, like, this could be a technical match class, Daniel Garcia and Zack Sabre Jr. You could say the same thing, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's just so much more equity in Danielson for something like this, sort of a one-off dream match scenario, that I really think that we'll be looking back on and be like, man, they missed an opportunity to really have a one-off shot that we might not ever get to see a guy like an Okada or somebody like that. You can't get Tanahashi, obviously, because he's already wrapped up, but Okada just dropped the title. Like, you have the opportunity here. You can easily just, if they can make it work behind the scenes politically, and and if they want to just have Okada go over, whatever, like, I don't know, man. Like, I just see more opportunity there, and I just don't see a lot of the equity built up name wise on the other side with Sabre. But we'll see. I'm sure it'll be a great match, like you said.
Yep. Yeah. We'll definitely see there. The only final thing I'll say here with that is, Okada's not the champion now. What if old Okada is just like, I'm not going to work this show.
That would be nutty. Holy shit.
What if he's like, I'm not going to do this. You know, I dropped the belt.
I just can't see him doing that to just drop the belt, though. Like, would that be the reason that he's not doing it? They're like, okay, well, if you're not working the show, we need the IWGP title on it. Okay, you can have the title. I just don't want to work the show.
That'd be wild. I mean,
I don't know.
I would still expect him to have a match.
I couldn't see Tony not wanting to do business and get Okada on that card. Like, to be like, dude, we'll let you go over anybody. We don't give a fuck. I just need you on this card. Like,
right. Well, yep, that's the end of the other news. We pretty much don't got anything else with that. In terms of, you got anything for the cringe? Anything just cringy out?
What are we gonna give cringe? Let's give Meltzer the cringe. We'll go ahead and give him the cringe for 5-starring that fucking Bucks and Lucha fucking jerk fest of just fucking, let's do some moves and we're just gonna fucking appeal to one guy in the audience who's gonna give us these star ratings and just fucking fuck off.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't really have a meat slapper. I can't seem to think of, was there anything that just kind of...
I'm trying to think of big dudes that did shit. I can't really...
It doesn't technically have to be big dudes. It could be like, just dudes, man, beating the shit out of each other.
That's true. I don't know. I'm sure Gunther probably destroyed Ricochet somewhere in there.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the match, but I'm going to give, not the match, I'm just going to give Gunther the knee slapper of the week. Just
there you go. Yeah.
You know, won the IC title, beat Ricochet. His trajectory is definitely on a good path here. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens there with that. So yeah.
Right. And quickly before we get out of here, anybody watching? Because I think we're gonna possibly be uploading this on our old Pulse channel. Any of those guys, check out. I'm sure Ryan will put in the description the link to our new channel. We are on the new channel. Obviously, we're not going to be uploading on this channel. We just wanted to get it out there to, get it in front of you guys and let you know that, hey, we're back doing shit. So, go over to the new channel. Be sure to subscribe. Check out all the other videos. We got like 4 or 5 other videos up. Just basically kind of recapping the week stuff. But be sure to subscribe and be sure to like the video, guys.
For sure. So yeah, that's for us. We are the Hardcore Casual, your all killer, no filler wrestling podcast. Got another week down here. And, got a busy summer. We're going to get these podcasts out to you as much as we can. So, that is all we got for you today. Later, guys.